So, hello out there. This is a guide for you on how to use and how to solve this assignment and what you're supposed to look at. If we open it, we have all these documents. You're supposed to open this one, well, Word file. This file, you have the whole assignment. First assignment, based on the accompanying material, explain which factors have impacted T. Hansen Group, financial development from. Yes, so if we open here, we have 1, 2, 3 articles. You're supposed to read these articles. A good idea is to say internal factors and external factors, and fill out everything and make a conclusion what most have affected this. So you kind of draw on the conclusion in terms of that. Then question 1, 2, analyze the development in index figures for the asset use efficiency and earnings efficiency from 19 to 21. And you're supposed to say, okay, then you open this, but then this time you open the Excel file, which will then give us this. And if you can look here, you have from A38, you have earning capacity, and here you have asset use efficiency. And you're supposed to say, okay, first compare net revenue to cost of sales, then net revenue to other external costs, net revenue to staff costs, net revenue to depreciation, and then a conclusion. Then you continue, net revenue to fixed assets, net revenue to inventories, net revenue to trade receivables, and then you conclude on that. Then if you look at it, the assignment says, assess how the development of index figures affected the profit margin and asset use efficiency as you turnover. You're supposed to look at the ratios, which you can find here, asset turnover ratio and profit margin ratio. And you read it from right to left, and you can follow, okay, what's the development there, there, there. Also with this, what's the development there, there, and there. Okay, how is this affecting in terms of the index figures? Is that connection? And there is a connection, and you can see it if you look. That's your assignment. Next, assess how the development in index figures have affected profit margin ratio and asset turnover ratios as we followed. Yes, you may think that it's really a good idea to look at, of course, what did you write in 1 with internal and external factors? What has to do with cost? What has to do with assets? And there's a clear sign. If something is a cost, if something has to do with an asset, you have to put them together, see, okay, we see this development because of this and this and this and this and this and this and this. Therefore, we need to connect it to, for example, bought a new building, saved cost, increased cost, etc., etc., etc. All of these things have to be connected. If we take 1.4, explain why the return on equity is greater than the return on investment for 21. Key figures can be found in appendix. Then it's an idea is to look at the figures here. And you can see here, where is return on equity? Return on equity is right here. If you click on it, you should see the development. You see something has to do with, there's a development increase in equity, there's an increase in profit before tax, but what causes this development from this to this? For this case, it might be a good idea to use MyDoc, where you can use the figures, put in the figures, And then you can see from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, return on equity, and you can see the development. You can use it to put the figures in. It will automatically tell you the development, how much it develops. But you have to look at, okay, why is there anything with this or this? And can we like combine it? Can we tell a story of the development in the figures, but also in what we know from the 3 articles? And you will be able to do that if you do it carefully. Next one is assets with growth strategy they're using. You need to use ENSAF growth matrix for this assignment. It's important, of course, but it's of course also known that you need to look at, okay, is it market development, etc., etc., etc. Again, you need to combine it with the ideas and knowledge you have from the first assignments. And last, assets, how T. Hansen Group A's business model will be affected when the company expands into the Swedish market. When we look at business models, you need to go into your book, in your notes, and look at the chapters where we focus on that. That's, for example, chapter 5, but you can also look at the value chain, etc., etc., etc. Also partly look at chapter 6, partly look at chapter 11 of former business model and the strategic models, of course. The next assignment is calculate the variable unit cost for cheap wheels purchasing 1,000 units. The information can be found in Appendix 2. In this case, if you open Appendix 2, you will see assignment of how much, etc. Need to figure out, okay, how much is the variable cost and how much is the variable unit cost. This will be quite simple if you think about it. Make sure to, of course, include the correct elements in it. It's an assignment type you have seen before. It's an assignment type that will be at the exam. A good idea is, of course, to remember to read everything precisely, because, for example, here, exchange rate for US dollars, etc. Stick to what you've known. And there will always be something where, for example, here, freight from the consignment of Hamburg to Silkeborg to 4,500, but freight from consignment of Hamburg to Hamburg, US dollars 2,000. So you have to US dollars, and then you have to calculate in kroner also. Forward the whole entire assignment, etc. DKK 1,200. Customer duty per unit, for example, 50 kroner. All of these things needs to be calculated. If we take the next assignment, calculate a contribution margin per unit. Remember, selling price minus variable unit cost, and then contribution margin for the whole consignment, contribution margin unit multiplied with volume of total sales. As is how many cheap wheels scooters should need to cover the marketing drive. The marketing drive, if we see here, marketing effort is 25,000. This means that that is the figure that we need to look at. Therefore, we need to, of course, look at that in terms of the contribution margin per unit, because we are told, as you see here, how many. So it's not break-even turnover, but it's break-even sales volume. So marketing cost divided with the contribution margin per unit will tell us what. As is why the sales manager believed that Sprint A should not sell. This is a discussion question, and you can answer that afterwards. Calculate index figures to shed light in the development of Fotobrand's environmental impacts from 2020 to 22 information. This assignment is a bit different, but it's an assignment where we have all of these figures, and then we need to figure out how do we calculate the index figures. And then you pretty much just need the equation for index figures, which is apparent in your book, but also in other things. You need to, of course, combine that. Next, you need to analyze the development in the environmental impact. You can see that when you have impacted and calculated the index figures. The last one, assess whether the strengthened CSR profile has changed the company's competitive strategy. Competitive strategy, you need to look at Porter's generic strategy to answer that question. For one, prepare a balance sheet as 2022 to calculate return on investment, solvency, and liquidity for this. In this case, you need to look at first. You need to look at, you have the reporting. And we have the reporting and financial analysis, net revenue, etc., etc., etc. So in this case, we need to fill out all of these. And when we have filled out all of these together with this, we will be able to calculate the ratios. And one trick that many of you always do is you need to start from here. Say, go down. Financial costs also, but remember when it's depreciation, you need to subtract it from the value of fixtures and fittings to get it to fit. Then it will fit. If you look at it that way, but they've been nice and helped and filled out the reporting in these figures here of the income statement, so it should be a good start. I hope this video works for you, and I look forward to seeing your work on this assignment. Thank you so much.